Dylan.
Wow.
Adam Schefter actually tripped over something on the way just into the studio today, so it runs in the family.
Absolutely.
Shefty, that's got to be fun to watch.
Greeny, there's nothing better than watching your own child at an event like this. We saw Teddy on the field with his kids, and I think if you have the chance to share this with your family, any part of it, there's nothing that can make anybody any happier than something like that.
That's right, Chef.
All right, it's a wonderful thing. In the meantime, fans need the top stories of the day here and around the National Football League. Shefty, what do they need to know?
Well, I know John Schneider, the Seahawks general manager, gets a lot of credit for building this team, but he also should get all the credit for luring Mike Macdonald, their head coach, to Seattle. When Mike Macdonald was coming out, the Washington Commanders were after him in heavy pursuit. His wife was a cheerleader for the Washington football team. But in the end, Macdonald chose to move his family cross-country because he believed in John Schneider most of all. And John Schneider has rewarded his belief by building Mike Macdonald a Super Bowl team. And this is partly how he's done it, by trading Russell Wilson to the Denver Broncos. Look at the haul of players that the Seahawks got back in the Russell Wilson trade that helped build this team to help make it a Super Bowl contender and to give it a chance to play in this game today. That trade for March 2022 is still being felt in Seattle. Another brilliant move from the Seahawks general manager, John Schneider. And as we look ahead to this upcoming offseason, the Dallas Cowboys are expected to place their franchise tag on George Pickens. It'll be about $28 million. It'll prevent him from becoming a true unrestricted free agent. Jerry Jones has said he wants to sign George Pickens to a long-term deal. George Pickens wants a long-term deal, but we've seen before that the Cowboys don't move fast on these things, and George Pickens' agent is the same agent that represented Micah Parsons. Also, Maxx Crosby faces an uncertain future with the Raiders. Despite the speculation that he'll be traded, the Raiders have been adamant that they don't want to trade him. And if they did, they would be looking for a Micah Parsons package of their own. A lot of draft picks. We'll see how this one unfolds. They're still going to want to try to convince Crosby to stay in Las Vegas. Don't know if that's possible, but the Raiders are not all that interested in moving off of him right now, despite how interested he is in being traded.
That makes sense, Shefty. One of the big stories of the offseason, Maxx Crosby, I would say, on a Hall of Fame trajectory early in his career. And what is that moment like? You've been on the other side of it. What was it like there to share that with Larry?
I just think that just watching him grow all the way from high school to college, and then, you know, the show he put on in the National Football League, and you see my soundbite, and I told him about a lot of athletes, a lot of professional athletes looking up to him, and people would look at me. It's like, really? No, I say Larry Fitzgerald is what I would call a pro's pro. And the reason why, do you remember the year that I had in 2007? Well, I want to talk about the postseason that Larry had in 2008. Still to this day are NFL records in the postseason. 546 receiving yards with 7 touchdowns. So not just Larry, but all the guys this year's class of 2026, man, Luke, Roger Craig, Larry, Vinatieri. Hey, man, congratulations, guys.
Yeah, my good friend, Adam Vinatieri. I mean, it's when you come up through the league with a guy and you see him get a gold jacket that joining you in the Hall of Fame, it's just, I mean, I sat across at Bryant University at the meal table with Adam Vinatieri, and next to him was Matt Barr, and he was our kicker, and I'm thinking, man, V, how are you going to make this team? From there, all the way to being a second ballot Hall of Famer, just so proud of my teammate, the clutch kicks that he made. The feeling that you have when Adam goes out there in Super Bowl 38 against the Carolina Panthers, it's over. It's over. You just know it's over, that he's going to make the kick. That's how much confidence we had in him. I was on the kickoff team when Adam Vinatieri ran down Herschel Walker. All right? He was one of the toughest kickers and football players we had on our team, and the best clutch kicker we ever had.
I tell you, you talk about clutch kicks. I remember going against him. I mean, in Baltimore, we have a hell of a defense, all this, and he's with Indianapolis at the time. And when he comes trotting out there, 5 field goals. You know, I remember telling Ed Reed and Ray, I said, we don't give up a touchdown. We'll win this thing. I never realized Homeboy's going to go out there 5 times.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you knew he was going to make it. Like, of course, made all 5 kicks.
All these guys obviously so deserving. I mean, how about Roger Craig, ahead of his time, right? All
Yes.
these modern running backs really modeled after him. But the elephant in the room, right? Like, no Bill Belichick, no Robert Kraft. These guys won 6 Super Bowls, Teddy, right? Like, Vinatieri getting in. And listen, obviously the construct of how the Hall of Fame elected these guys, the fact that they had to pick 3 out of 5 or 3 out of 7, for me, I'm having a really hard time with. I mean, this is arguably the greatest coach and owner of all time, and that they don't get into this club and will forever not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. It doesn't sit right with me. I mean,
I don't care how the hell they're you got 8 votes, 1 vote, 2. The first guy I put in is Bill Belichick.
Yep.
As a football coach, are you kidding me? I've gone against all of them. Nobody's close to this guy. 302 wins in the regular season. That's 3rd on the all-time list. 31 playoff wins. Oh, that's more than any other coach.
Yeah.
6 Super Bowls as a head coach. That's 2 more than any coach. All right, 9 conference championships. That's 3 more than any coach. Get the heck out of here. I mean, who the hell's voting for this?
Yeah.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself not put this guy in. And, I mean, I don't understand it. First ballot, well, I mean, that's this man right here. When you think about coaches of all time, the first guy you think about is Bill Belichick.
Yes, hands down. One thing that I'll say, I'm not going to really sit up here and just sit up here and just badmouth the Hall, because there's some guys that just got selected to this year's Pro Football Hall of Fame that I do not want to take the light from. But one thing about not electing Robert Kraft, not electing Bill Belichick, the one thing that I would talk to all the voters going forward, I know it's going to ruffle some feathers, but I really believe as a football player, if you didn't play it, if you didn't coach it, you shouldn't have a vote. I don't care who you are, and I don't care how you feel about it. But like I said, I don't want to take no shine away from the guys elected today, and that's it for me.
Yeah, once again, the New England Patriots are going to prompt a rule change.
yeah, it needs to happen.
The
process
committee
needs
has to be
change.
rethought. All right, it has to be maybe reconstructed. I mean, the rules have to be changed, because this was an obvious something went on in the room. Somebody said something. Something was personal.
Yep.
There were grudges.
Yep.
This is what happened. Okay. And that shouldn't be in the room when you're discussing how quality of a player or a coach is decided to get that honor. It just shouldn't be.
And the
changes have to be made.
This needs to be a binary decision. The guy is either Hall of Fame or he is not. This idea that you are picking 3 out of 8 and you have to leave certain people in or out, I think that entire structure is false, right? Like, again, this process needs to change going forward. Hopefully it does.
And the general idea that someone had to make a decision. I can vote for L.C. Greenwood or Robert Kraft, who are 2 people who could not have less to do with each other, nor could their contributions to the game have less to do with one another. It just obviously doesn't make any sense. Adam Schefter, you obviously, there's been a huge topic on all of the talk shows since these announcements came out. What can you tell us about the process?
Well, Greeny, this is the Hall of Fame. We're voting for the Hall of Fame. We're not choosing 3 items at a Chinese buffet, which is the way they made this come out to be. Now they're saying they're going to consider rule changes, which come too late, because even if they change the rules, Bill Belichick never will be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And so the winningest Super Bowl coach, one of the most accomplished men in NFL history, cannot be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And Robert Kraft was in his first year as a finalist. Let's make him wait another year at the age of 85. What does that accomplish when he's won more Super Bowls than any owner? The whole thing is ridiculous. And Randy, you're right. You're right. There are 50 voters. And many times, those voters turn to the players who played the game or the coaches who coached the game to get their opinions to help form the vote. So let's get more players and let's get more coaches involved. They don't have to exclude the people,
Absolutely.
but it needs to be expanded beyond 50 voices that made it way too personal and made a huge mistake in the voting this year.
We respect the writers. There's something to respect about the journalists and all the work that they've put in over the course of their years. But this right here, this is the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And this is something that if they have to go out there and ask people's opinions and can't have their own on them, I mean, I got my own. on the men that went in, yes, and even the ones that didn't. I mean, I have my own. I am not a Hall of Famer, but this is what matters: what he feels, and other Hall of Famers and other Hall of Fame players and coaches, if they definitely also need to be included in the process.
I really want to get this message out to Coach Belichick. Coach Belichick, you have a lot of guys that played for you, coached against you, coached with you, that had your back in a situation like this. But from an emotional standpoint, I don't know how you feel, but not making a first ballot Hall of Famer, Coach, it really got a lot of us mad. So when I tell you that we got your back, Coach, we got your back. But going forward, Hall of Fame, come on, y'all got to do something about this.
There you go, Bill.
Yeah, it's obviously gotten so much attention that one assumes that something will get done about it, and you hate the idea. It was Roger Craig who was richly deserving and waited decades for
Absolutely.
this. It was
Absolutely.
him who was the one who did emerge from that group that had Belichick and Kraft in it, and you just hate the idea that there are people now who will say, well, I can't believe they put him in instead of Belichick and Kraft, rather than celebrating one of the great careers of all time, a guy who was well ahead of his time in Roger Craig. This has nothing to do with the players and the people who were inducted. All of them were richly deserving.
Yes.
We'll break on that thought. We'll do much more as we continue here from Santa Clara at the Super Bowl.